What's your I did not see that one coming story? For months, my son Toby had this stupid cough. He was 9 years old and it kept coming back every couple weeks. Not all the time, just when he ran around too much or played soccer. I took him to our doctor 3 different times. Each visit, same story. It's probably allergies, they said. Maybe post-nasal drip. They gave us some medicine, told him to take it easy, and sent us home. But it kept getting worse. One Saturday after soccer practice, Toby coughed so hard he almost passed out right there on the field. His face went white and he grabbed onto my arm like he was drowning. I rushed him to urgent care immediately. They checked everything. His breathing, his heart, even did some blood tests. Nothing dangerous, they said. Just keep giving him the allergy meds. That night I was lying in bed thinking about it. Something felt off. The cough always seemed worse when we were at home, and it was only bad when we were upstairs. I started paying attention over the next few days. At school, no cough. When we stayed at my sister's house during the power outage last month, nothing. But upstairs in our house, especially in his bedroom, that's when it got really bad. So I did something that probably sounds crazy. I went online and bought one of those air quality monitors. You know, the kind that beeps if there's bad stuff in the air. When it arrived 2 days later, I plugged it in upstairs in Toby's room. Within 10 minutes, this thing started screaming like a fire alarm. The screen was flashing red and showing these numbers I didn't understand, but I knew they were bad. I called the company's helpline. The guy on the phone got really quiet when I read him the numbers. "Sir, you need to get your family out of that room immediately," he said. "Those are toxic levels of formaldehyde." I didn't even know what that meant, but I moved Toby downstairs that same night. The next day, I started tearing his room apart. I pulled out his mattress, checked behind all the furniture, even looked under the carpet. Nothing made sense. The room looked normal. Then I remembered the built-in closet we had installed about 2 years ago. We hired this contractor I found online because he was way cheaper than everyone else. Big mistake. I got my tools and started ripping out the baseboard around the closet. That's when I found it. Behind the wood paneling was black mold so thick it looked like someone had painted the wall with tar. And underneath that was this old wooden beam that was completely rotted through. It was soaked with something that smelled like sewage mixed with glue. The whole thing was disgusting. I called a hazmat cleanup team that same day. They came out wearing those white suits like you see in the movies. After they finished cleaning everything out, Toby's cough disappeared completely. Just gone. I felt terrible that I hadn't figured it out sooner, but at least we solved it. But here's where it gets really weird. While I was packing up some of Toby's things from his room before the cleanup, I found this crumpled piece of paper stuck way down inside one of the loose floorboards. It was a letter written in purple ink by someone with really neat handwriting. The paper was old and yellowed around the edges. The letter was dated August 1997. It said, "If anyone finds this, please tell my mom I didn't run away. I was trapped here. He kept me in the walls. He said I made too much noise coughing." It was signed, Samira. I stared at that letter for probably 10 minutes, just trying to process what I was reading. My hands were shaking. I immediately called the police. They took the letter and started asking me all kinds of questions about the house and the previous owner. 2 weeks later, a detective called me back. They had looked into it and found that Samira was a missing child case from 1997. She was 12 years old and had been living with a foster family. Her foster father was the main suspect, but they never had enough evidence to charge him. And get this, my house used to belong to him. The detective told me they were going to search the property with ground-penetrating radar. 3 days later, they found her. She was buried in the crawl space under the house, right below where Toby's room used to be. After 28 years, Samira's family finally got answers. The foster father had died 5 years ago, so there was never going to be a trial, but at least they could have closure. Her mom sent me a letter thanking me for finding Samira's note and giving her daughter peace.